The rainforests of the Amazon jungle, hundreds of miles from civilization, a group of American explorers, adventurers, and soldiers of fortune have set up a gold mining operation which has uncovered one of the richest gold. The road sometimes isn't.
You got to go through here, Griff.
A slip of an inch or two can delay the truck for days.
Don't make any mistakes on this one, old buddy.
Dale, 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 dale. Get off of that bridge.
Don't stop now.
This is the only road for hundreds of miles, the only passage into the jungle.
You know this truck has no brakes, right? You know that. So that means you're a pretty good driver. Hey, Filippo! Hey, there's Phil.
The road ends on the banks of the Inavari. From here, there is a 2-hour trip upriver to the Adventurers Unlimited campsite. It is a river already swollen to flood proportions by the continual rain. Phil Miller, leader of the Adventurers group, explains to the team some of the difficulties experienced in their absence.
I would say that the elements here have been pretty hard on us. When it's not raining, the sun is out 125, 130 degrees. It's been one of the tougher ones.
Get out the big pot, John. You got company for dinner tonight.
The arrival of fresh provisions, cigarettes, mail from home, and their return comrades is cheered by some of the Adventurers Unlimited group, which has not been so fortunate as to enjoy rest and relaxation in Lima.
Got a new girlfriend there, huh?
Reginald, old boy, how's your... Everybody okay?
Yeah, everything's
They set out towards the new campsite, which has been located on slightly higher ground.
Shit, the rounds I put through it today.
French tarantula!
Guns are in evidence everywhere to offer protection not only against wild animals and the huge venomous snakes, but also against poachers and bandits.
Where there's one, there's two.
Okay, man.
Slippery. Not bad. Seen any piranha in here lately?
After the grueling 23-hour journey, the team is reunited in its mid-jungle camp.
How rich is it turning out?
Well, let's take the hole up here where you're talking about.
Phil discusses the progress of the dredging operation with his newly returned team members.
When we go back to our hole where we're at now with the dredge, we're getting as big a flakes at the depth of 5 feet and under as he's getting up in the top. So, I feel that when we get to where we're the source of the bottom, the bedrock, that we're going to be able to uncover some nice veins of gold, heavy flakes. And
The next morning, work begins at dawn in an attempt to beat the 125-degree temperatures and 100% humidity that will prevail shortly. With the same kind of single-piece teak pan that was used by Inca Indians thousands of years ago, Phil demonstrates the richness of the gold in the area. A skilled panner can get almost 10 grams of gold from a single shovelful of dirt. But the real focus of the Adventurers mining operation is the huge dredge which the team brought down with them. This is the first time that a dredge has ever been used in this area. Its highly efficient operation ensures that every bit of gold will be extracted from the soil and rocks. Acting like a giant vacuum cleaner, the dredge is manipulated by a diver to suck up the accumulated rocks and sand. The rocks and sand are brought up to the surface, and the dredged-up contents of the river bottom are washed through a series of gratings and screens that trap whatever gold is present. After working for 3 months, the team has managed to clear away 15 feet of silt and rocks from the river bottom, where the rare gold nuggets are found. Then Phil spots a nugget and grabs it. The group has discovered the tip of the golden mother lode.
What
Look at the size.
Yes! We got it, finally! We got it!
All right, Phil.
Oh, yeah! Look at that!
All right.
Yeah,
man.
Whoa, look at that!
Mother Nature, which provided the gold, will not give up her treasures that easily. Spurred on by their discovery, the group has stayed too long, and the rainy season is upon them. Phil realizes that they are now in a dangerous situation.
When you're up against Mother Nature as you find it here in the Amazon basin or in the Andes or Africa or places that no one else goes to, even though it sounds romantic and it sounds like a rich scheme, it's far from it. It's totally difficult work and very, very life-risking, and it's just something that should be thought of and planned of many, many months before ever undertaken.
Keep your head up, John.
By the next morning, it has rained for 17 solid hours, and the river is far above its normal level. During the night, the dredge and all its supporting equipment have been washed away without a trace. The team begins to worry about its survival more than the gold.
Keep your head up. Got him. All right. Okay.
But they will return, these adventurers and soldiers of fortune. For centuries, the Amazon has withheld its treasures. These are the men who are finally bringing it out.
This portion of Good Morning America is brought to you by Legs Pantyhose, which give your legs the fit you need for the look you love. And by the many fine products of General Foods.
Half past right now. I'm David Hartman with Sandy Hill. I guess there aren't too many people who really enjoy getting out into a jungle filled with snakes and wild animals and big insects and all that kind of thing. But there is a group of Americans right now that is doing just that. They're spending months at a time in the jungles of Peru. And they are not just doing it for the heck of it. They are in there after gold, and lots of it, apparently. In a few minutes, we're going to meet two of the men involved in this incredible treasure hunt, and they've got quite some story to tell.
That they do. It's quite some film to look at. We'll also meet a 14-year-old schoolgirl who just happens to be a very glamorous, successful model. And John Coleman's going to have a new satellite view of a very stormy country. But before we get to that, it is 31 minutes after the hour, and Steve has the latest on Iran. Steve? Well, if you were to travel some 200 miles into the uncharted jungle of eastern Peru, you would arrive at the site of a modern-day gold rush. Just last year, the Peruvian government opened up vast tracts of jungle for exploration and for prospecting. And those who have made the trip have really struck it rich. Among the estimated 30,000 Peruvian Indians now in the gold fields, there is one group of Americans. It's called Adventurers Unlimited, and that group has also staked a claim. With us this morning is Paul Berry. He is a member of Adventurers Unlimited. And Pierre Delespinois?
Yes.
I hope. Television producer who traveled to Peru and filmed their expedition. It's terrific to have you here this morning.
Well, it's good to be here.
Great. Hey, Paul, how big, how vast is this gold rush, this modern-day gold rush?
It's big now, and I'd say it's probably going to grow more, get larger.
It is. How difficult, though, is it to get to the sites where all this gold is being prospected?
It's tremendously difficult. Yeah, it's jungle and very little roadways. There's only one road that goes into the interior. And you have to remember that you're going over the Andes almost into the borders of Bolivia to get to this particular area.
And I understand that where you find bridges, generally they really aren't there, and you have to build them as you traverse the
They're not bridges
waterways.
as we know them. They're generally logs and possibly a plank across the boards of the logs.
Well, let's take a look at some of the film, Pierre, that you shot while you were over there with the expedition.
Well, I think the first thing you're going to see is the beginning when they walked in. And this is just a quick segment to show how deep the jungle was.
And you can see that they had to walk in with sea guns. They had to arm themselves not only against the creatures that live in the jungle, such as snakes and anacondas and jaguars, but this is a gold expedition. And they had to clear their camp by chopping down the bamboo and actually living in the jungle. And here you see them building platforms and burning off the insects, which, the insects down there are huge. And these parrots live in the trees above. This is an Amazon parrot. This was about 3 feet long. And there's Paul, and there are the tents in the background. But these, the tree above us had 17 Amazon parrots that lived right in the tree. So it was absolutely spectacular as far as scenery.
You would have the magnificence of some of the creatures, and then the others, the insects and the snakes, trying to devour you.
The insects were amazing. I wasn't prepared for that. Some of the things are big as my hand.
Oh, biting ones?
Tarantulas. I remember one morning grabbing my shirt and having a tarantula run out. And that's quite a traumatic experience if you're from the city and not used to it.
Yes.
Those are the ones you recognize, Sandy.
Right.
The other ones, you don't even know what they are.
Now, what about actually panning for the gold? Well, we have some footage that should show us that here.
All right, this is a Peruvian pan. The Indians pan this way, and Paul's group did it differently, but we tried it this way. And you can see it's quite successful. If you notice, again, there's an armed guard, just to make sure of wild animals and bandits. And
is there a lot of that Wild West, as we have read about?
It's just like the California gold rush. It's going to be that way. And this is basically how they do it. They grab the dirt on the side, they look for placer gold, which is small flakes, and there you see a couple of small chips of gold.
It's really a laborious process, isn't it?
Oh, it is. But if a panner like this could get maybe $200 a day, and for a Peruvian Indian, that's a great amount of money for them. That's more than they would probably make in 2 or 3 months. So, it is real, it is there, and that's what surprised me as a crew, too, that it was really gold.
But it's not inconceivable, then, for this Peruvian Indian or for anyone else to actually make $200 a day in terms of just panning there with a...
Well, remember the price of gold.
Well, certainly.
You're talking probably 14 grams in a day.
Oh, my gosh.
Which isn't that difficult.
But, of course, there are some more sophisticated means that are being used also there in terms of dredging with the
Yes, this is what we tried to do.
Okay.
This was an amazing part of the journey, was that they tried to bring in modern technology into an area. If you realize that the Incans...
Getting those over the roads have got to...
Here's a generator, and what they do is this stream was only ankle deep, and the gold is heavy, so it settles to the bottom of the river streams, and to get it, they have to remove all the dirt. As you can see, the water is muddy. And down at the bottom, that's the nozzle of this dredge that sucks up the whole river bottom. And out of this, you can see that there's a good chance of grabbing these big nuggets when you get to the bottom of the riverbed. And here we see Philip Miller, the leader of the group, grab a nugget.
There in his hand.
Remember, this is ankle deep, and now they're about 18 feet down, so they settle quite deep. And look at the size of that nugget.
How much do you suppose that's worth?
That's about 3 or 4 ounces, and because of its size, it's probably worth twice to 3 times its value as gold. So it's probably about $2,000 to $3,000 that one piece.
Oh my gosh!
To a collector, yes. So
I'm surprised you came back.
Oh,
Sandy, here's a closer look at the kind of thing that drives men mad. Hold up.
And women.
Both hands.
Are there any? Oh, both hands. You've got that much. Oh my goodness! It's really how much worth of gold am I holding here?
Quite a bit.
Look at this.
Quite a bit.
These nuggets.
Oh, over there you are. I'm sorry. Look at that. They're not painted either, are they?
Those are real.
It's not fool's gold, folks. It's a real thing.
2 or 3 ounce nuggets, and nuggets of this size are of value, more of a value than the worth of gold, because this is natural. This is how you find it. It's this shiny when you see it.
Really?
And
that must have been such an experience for you the first time you were panning in there and actually pulled it out.
I was behind the camera and watching this when they were pulling these things out, and it was a lot of times the choice between filming and panning. It was,
Well, you almost lost your crew, didn't you, to gold fever? At least that's what I've been told.
It was. I remember everyone. I turned around and said, "Roll tape," and there's someone over there picking up a rock. Looking at a rock.
Oh my gosh, Paul, you are going back.
Oh yes, definitely.
And how much do you suppose you're going to be? Oops.
This is what happened. The rainy season came. And you stayed too long. And as you can see, that little 18-inch river now is ravaging. You have flash floods. They lost all their equipment, their dredges, their diving equipment, and a flash flood took everything. Then the matter became one of not finding gold, but getting back out of the jungle. And that was survival, and it really does. We lost a lot of weight, and the only thing that we had to sustain on the last week was a 50-pound box of animal crackers. which I don't know where they came from, but that's what we had to eat.
Gold, you were simply dust then. You're one of those
That's
crackers.
right.
I just must ask you how much you expect you can get out of there when you go back using these sophisticated means per week. How much money? How much gold?
In money?
Yeah.
Well, it's hard to say, but it's a multi-million-dollar operation.
Millions of dollars a week,
when it is
probably.
finally underway. You know,
I'll
we
just
did
keep
the
these, Paul, and I'll
Explorer.
see you next time you come
Sure,
to town.
stop in anytime, Sandy.
It was a pleasure. What
to
an
see you.
experience. Nice to see you, too. We're going to be back right after this. I can't believe these.
Oh, they have it.